When you think dinosaur, what comes to mind? Big teeth, long tails, maybe scaly skin, maybe some feathers, right? But what if that picture we all have in our heads is, well, missing something? Something kind of wild. What if some of them were spiky?
Yeah, I know. Sounds a little nuts, doesn't it? Like a dinosaur that looks like a porcupine, a plant eater just covered in quills. But, a recent discovery is making paleontologists totally rethink what they thought they knew about dinosaur skin. Seriously, this is a find that introduces a creature that feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, except it is 100% real.
And here it is. This is our star. Meet Haolong dongi. I love that name. It literally means spiny dragon of Dong. And let me tell you, it's a perfect name for an animal that is just completely flipping the script on how we picture dinosaurs. All right, so let's break this down. Haolong was an iguanodontian. That's a type of plant eater, and it was roaming around what's now China about 125 million years ago. Now, the one they found was just a juvenile, maybe 2.5 meters long. But here's the kicker. The part that changes everything. Its skin was unbelievably well preserved.
And when I say unbelievably well preserved, I'm not kidding. The place they found it, the Yixian Formation, is already famous for its amazing fossils. But this is something else entirely. We are talking about a skeleton that's almost completely intact, and it's surrounded by fossilized skin that shows these totally bizarre structures that nobody has ever seen on a dinosaur before. So you can imagine the scientific community just went wild. This quote really sums it up perfectly. What they found, it wasn't just weird scales, and it wasn't some kind of early feather. It was something new, something that just didn't fit into any of the neat little boxes we have for dinosaur skin.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how on earth did they figure this out? I mean, how do you even begin to analyze skin that's 125 million years old without just turning it to dust? Well, this is where the really cool, cutting-edge science comes into play, and it is fascinating.
The whole process was just so careful, so meticulous. So first, after they found the fossil, they used these super powerful X-ray scans to build a 3D model of it. Then, and this is amazing, they took these micro-thin slices to put under the microscope, letting them examine the actual structure of the fossilized tissue itself. The real magic here is this technology called synchrotron X-ray microtomography, or SXMT for short. The best way to think about it is like a super-powered CT scan, the kind you'd get at a hospital. But this one is so powerful, it lets scientists see inside the fossil without breaking it, right down to the level of individual cells that have been frozen in time for millions of years. It is a total game changer for this kind of work.
And what they found with that tech, it was just stunning. First off, the spikes were hollow. They grew right out of the skin, not the bone. And they were made of the exact same stiff material as the dinosaur scales. They covered a huge part of its body, which has scientists thinking, okay, what were these for? Maybe defense? Maybe to help it cool down or warm up? We're not sure yet.
So naturally, this discovery just kicked off a massive debate in the paleontology world. What are these things? Are we looking at some kind of weird proto-feather? Or are they just really fancy scales? Or is it something completely new that's going to force us to create a whole new category for dinosaur skin?
You see, for a long time, paleontologists have had two main boxes they put weird dinosaur skin stuff into. In one box, you've got protofeathers, those simple hair-like filaments we see on a lot of dinosaurs that are related to birds. In the other box, you have elaborate scales, like the spiky bits you see on a modern iguana. And the problem was, Haolong just didn't seem to fit neatly into either box.
So the researchers studying Haolong basically came up with a third option. They said, look, structurally, these things are different from any proto-feather we've ever seen, and they're also different from the spiny scales on modern lizards. The analysis shows they're a type of scale, yeah, but a kind we've never seen before. The takeaway here is huge. This might be a totally unique evolutionary path, a brand new way for dinosaurs to get decked out.
And that really gets to the bigger picture here. One of the paleontologists on the study, Pascal Godefroy, put it best. He said that maybe we've been thinking about this all wrong, with this simple scales or feathers idea. Maybe the reality of dinosaur skin was just incredibly diverse and a whole lot weirder than we ever imagined.
All right, so let's circle back to the whole porcupine thing I mentioned at the beginning. Was it really that spiky? Well, not quite. Turns out most of these spikes were super small, like only 2 or 3 millimeters long. So the animal wouldn't have looked like a porcupine so much as it would have looked jagged. kind of rough textured, like a modern Western fence lizard. Still really, really cool for sure. Just maybe a little different than that initial picture.
But you know, the story of Haolong dongi isn't just about this amazing spiky dinosaur. There's another whole layer to it. It's also a beautiful tribute to an absolute titan in the world of paleontology. That last part of the name, dongi, that's not random. It's there to honor a true legend of the field.
Just look at this number, 42. That is how many different dinosaur genera one man, Dong Ziming, either discovered or described. To put that into perspective for you, he has named more dinosaur species than anyone else in history. It's just a staggering contribution to science.
I mean, his career spanned decades. He started way back in the 60s, made these massive discoveries in the 70s like the famous Daoshanpu bone beds. He was also one of the key people who really helped open up Chinese paleontology to the rest of the world, co-leading that landmark China-Canada dinosaur project. He sadly passed away in 2024 at the age of 87, but the legacy he left behind, it's just incredible. And that's why this name, Haolong dongi, the spiny dragon of Dong, is just such a perfect tribute. It forever connects this truly groundbreaking, one-of-a-kind spiky dinosaur to the man who brought more of China's dinosaurs to light than anyone else.
And his colleagues? They held him in the absolute highest regard. His collaborator from the China-Canada project, Dale Russell, once called him the best fossil hunter he'd ever met. Coming from another paleontologist, there is pretty much no higher praise you can get.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The discovery of Haolong dongi just proves that even after all this time, after centuries of digging up fossils, we are still just scratching the surface. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a creature this bizarre, this unexpected, was just hiding in plain sight, what other incredible secrets are still out there, buried right under our feet, just waiting to be unearthed and change everything we think we know?